Adios, soldiers. I'm gonna give this to you right now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh! If it sounds like my voice is extra gravelly today, that's because it is. Because I graduated university, and then the universe was like, hey, congratulations, here's a cold. So I'm a little sick, but I'm also bored because I've been in my house for 5 straight days, and I need something to do. So today I decided to put on a full face and crack open something with caffeine at too late o'clock at night, and we're gonna just talk about some of the books that I read in April. I managed to read 6 books this April, and you know, you would think that like, oh, it's because you finished school like halfway through the month and then managed to binge read. No, I was stress reading before my final exams, and then I read 1 book between the end of my exams ending and the end of the month, which was like 2.5 weeks. And all of the books that I read this April were absolute bangers. I am so surprised about how much I loved every single one of these books. So I suppose without further ado, grab a drink, grab a snack, and buckle up, Bessie, while we go through the 6 books that I managed to read in April. So the first one I managed to finish this month was Blood Scion by Deborah Folleg, which was sent to me by HCC Frenzy. This is a brutal military-based fantasy novel inspired by Yoruban and Nigerian folklore that follows our main character Sloane, who has the ability to create fire based on a connection she has with a certain god, and how she gets drafted into the military to help kill her own kind. And of course, once we're in the capital, we learn about the history of the colonizers and the magic that used to be in their world, and we find friends and enemies and allies, and we burn down a surprising number of things. This gets bloody and psychologically damaging enough to rival Saba Tahir. This book is rage and fire, and it is so good. The entire book, you're just asking Sloane like, girlie, are you okay? And the answer is always no. This has some sick ass world building. Like, there are continents that are now submerged underwater because of war, and there are these beautiful floating statues that the colonizers cannot bring down because of the previous gods imbuing their faith into them. We do go from dirty child in the dregs to girl boss war rebel within like 2.5 weeks, which I think is a little fast. And while the Lucius army are, you know, quite terrifying, I do have some constructive criticism to give them on how they build their armies. There seems to be a lot of killing new recruits. And like, I get the whole like weeding out the weak thing, but I'm like, guys, I feel like there is a better way to construct an army. So is there like a Dropbox or something? Is there an email address that I can go to for like customer service? I just have a suggestion. And the ending of this, oh my God, I was crying, I was screaming, I was yelling, I was throwing things. My heart was going 1,000,000 miles a minute. So yeah, my guy, oh wow, I am so impressed with this debut. Holy shit, I'm absolutely ordering the sequel. I feel like I'm about to combust. So after reading that, I felt like I needed to give myself a break, because I had just gone through like 300 and some odd pages of like war and death and blood and like fire gods, and I was like, all right, I need a bit of a palate cleanser. So I finally picked up The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I got sent this in a book of the month box like last year, and everybody and their mother and their cousin and their cousin's friend and the Instagram girl that runs their fan page has read this book, and god damn it, they were all right. This book was so fun and cute. I saw a lot of y'all on the internet being angry at this book, and I just want to know, like, where was the haterade power hour? Because damn, this book was great. This is a fake dating rom-com about Olive and Adam, who Olive ropes Adam in to fake dating her to appease her best friend, but then, oh, once they're in it, like, ooh, do they actually like each other? And then Olive's doing some stuff with her own research, and then she gets into a kerfuffle with a professor from a other college, grumpy sunshine duo, and you know what? I had so much fun with this. Now, I'm not saying this book was perfect. Not only is this book info dump city, this is just vibes and banter being like very loosely strung together by like the most basic of plots. And like, there are stakes. Like, they are there. You might need a microscope to see them, but they are there. I don't have a problem with this book having started off as fan fiction, but I do feel it's a little weird to name the main character after the actor that it's based on. Like, where is the line there? And the first rule of scientific study is that you back up your argument with facts. and I see no factual evidence that Adam Carlson is an ass. Like, we are told this throughout the entire book about how bad he is and how terrible he is, and he's just like this nice, slightly standoffish kind of guy who's like willing to do anything for all of it. Like, I love him. But hey, I read this when I was going through a depressive episode, and I had a really fun time with this. In fact, I had such a good time with it, I decided to read another fun rom-com that Book of the Month sent me, and that was Dating Dr. Dale by Nisha Sharma. This is a loose retelling of Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew, and it is so fucking funny. Another fake dating to real love book, now that I realize this, where both Karina, a lawyer, and Prem, a talk show host, are fake dating each other to be able to get what the other one wants. In Karina's case, it's the childhood home that her father is selling, and for Prem, it is to reel in investors to set up a cardiology hospital for the Asian community in South Jersey. It is full of sweater vests and meddling families and mutual pining. It is spicy and emotional and just so fun. The banter is so easy and the writing is just like really keeps you going. I finished this in a day. This book is just an example of when you get into a new relationship of having to learn the other person's love language. And like, yes, we love a woke king who understands what women go through in a patriarchal society. Once again, just like in The Love Hypothesis, our bad boy isn't really a bad guy. Like, he says a couple of questionable lines at the very beginning, but he does a 180 real fast. And like, he's just like this really great, amazing guy who like is willing to do basically anything for Karina like right away. And I'm like, girly, what are you doing? Like, you are missing out. He's perfect. From the amount of laughing, shrieking, crying that I did from reading this book, I feel like I have burned enough calories that it would look like I ran a 10K marathon. Like, I'm gonna need to go to the cardiology unit because my heart just like can't handle how sweet and lovely and wonderful this book was. I'm looking at this stack of mine and I have read all over the place this month. There is no like matching theme. Though I suppose them all being good is like a good through line for them to have. The next one up is a sapphic dark academia horror YA that I freaking loved. I got an advance copy of My Dearest, Darkest by Kayla Cottingham from Source Books, and perfection. On her way to a new prestigious academy, our main character Finch gets into a horrible car accident, but some dark god will not let her die. And this same dark god is offering favors to the girls at Ulaloom Academy, including Selena, the most popular girl, and her friend group, who are all starting to act very strangely. So the two of them team up along with a couple of friends to try and figure out what is going on with the town and how to stop this being that is asking for greater and greater things in return for small favors. The horror element of this was so well done. I could not read this at night. The eight-eyed stag is phenomenal. I love him. And it has those threads of that weird, twisted, almost like fairy-like nature magic that I happen to love. And people are sacrificing really weird things like fingernails and teeth and like the length of their hair. And it's just, oh, it's so gross and I loved it. Also fantastic bisexual discourse. Like, I see you, Selena, sweetie, I'm on your side. But I like how this book goes from like creepy, slightly creepier, pretty creepy, batshit, wild blood, body horror. Puts a whole new spin on ethical organ donation. Also, fun fact about this book is that I read it when I was getting my tattoo done. So I recently got my very first cover-up tattoo and I love her so much. Her name is Medusa. I just realized maybe I had such a hard time with the rest of this book because I'm associating this book with like the pain of getting a tattoo. I don't know what neurons just fired in there, but that actually does explain quite a bit about my feelings toward this book. And don't worry, we'll do a tattoo tour soon. Unfortunately, it is spring right now, but you can bet that in fall, I'm gonna make this my aesthetic and half of my personality. Okay, we're gonna go take a hydration break and I'm gonna go pop another Benadryl. Not sponsored, but like Benadryl, if you ever wanna work together, like hit me up. Okay, I'm back. I got myself a tea. I'm slightly worried about cold medication kicking in and making me really sleepy, but I only have 2 more books to go, and as somebody who had chronic pain for multiple years and was taking like good drugs, I built up tolerance, I'm fine. All right, so this next one is one of the stranger books that I've read in a long time. It is a highly political fantasy sci-fi genre mash that actually reminded me a lot of reading Gideon the Ninth, or more specifically Harrow the Ninth, where you have no idea what is going on for like 80% of the book, and then it all comes together and you're like, holy shit, what did I just read? And that was The Bone Orchard by Sarah A. Mueller. I got sent a copy of this by Tor, thank you Tor. And this centers around Charm, who is the mistress of a brothel, and she is tasked by the dying king to figure out which of his sons poisoned him. But this is also in a world where some people have mind locks, which are devices embedded in your brain that will make you more docile, that will make you more susceptible to influence, that will allow other people to control what you think. But it's also fantasy because there are some people who are like psychics that can manipulate their surroundings, and that's actually a reason why mind locks were created, to be able to like suppress those powers, because if you don't suppress the powers, people go insane. So Charm is trying to navigate gossip and the royal court, while also there is an ascension of one of the new princes to the throne, and there's a political rebellion, and she also has like another person in her mind who's a doctor who's like genetically growing bodies of things, and she has a bone garden that literally grows bones from plants. Like there's like a horse head tree that like drops horse skulls, and then like you look in the ground, there's like fingers growing out of the soil. It is a bit confusing because, again, interesting mashup. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of names, there's a lot of titles, there's a lot of moving pieces. It's highly political and so intriguing with the people's ability to manipulate memories. It's like you don't know what's real or what's coming from who. And while this is a standalone, she hints at such a broad and complex world that I'm like, I need stories for all of it. Like there's this monastery of psychic people, and then there's like this whole trade empire with mind locks, and then there's like this step queen, her people are like planning a rebellion, and then the fire drinkers, who are this police force that are like psychically modified. Like it's a whole thing. So yes, a very unique book I'm gonna be adding to my shelf, and if you're looking for something just weird, I would highly recommend this. And lastly, the book that I finished the day before filming this, so once again, just squeaked it into this month's wrap up, is this stunning debut that was A Magic Steeped in Poison by Judy Lin. After her mother dies from drinking a poison cup of tea, our main character Ning travels to the Imperial City as part of a contest to see who can become the next Shenong Shi, aka a magical competition of tea making, which she's hoping to win to get a favor from the Emperor to save her dying sister. But of course, once she arrives, there's enemies in all places and friends and unexpected ones. Plus, who would have guessed it, we're in the middle of a political rebellion because the old king has died and left a regent princess in his stead, and Ning gets pulled in to help her with the rebellion that is brewing from a banished prince who ends up having a son who's like kind of dreamy. Kang is there in the capital to reconnect ties with the regent princess and accidentally maybe gets tangled up with Ning, and then stuff happens and they're just, I love them so much. It is court intrigue and sweeping romance, and of course plenty of cups of tea. Everybody has big fake it till I make it energy, and like I respect that. The writing is so rich and vibrant and colorful, and there's so much amazing food and amazing smells and all the teas and the different magic. The writing is so vivid that at one point Ning gets lunch delivered to her, and it's noodles and peanut sauce with garlic and cucumber, and I was like, I just had that for lunch. Am I gonna be the new fantasy YA protagonist? Like, God, I hope not. I am too old for this shit. So if you really love Spin the Dawn or just finished Daughter of the Moon Goddess and need something similar to pick up, this baby right here. Oh my God, oh wow. And that is that on that. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. The sun has just slowly been setting this whole time, so I don't know what the light's gonna be like at this point, but I don't think it's too bad. I don't want to be sick anymore. I forgot what being sick is like, and it sucks. It's not COVID though. I did take a test and like we're COVID free. Love that for me. I'm thriving. I can still taste stuff, and like that is a win in my book. As always, please leave down below your own thoughts. What did you read this month, or did you read some of mine and want to talk about them? Are you happy I finally read The Love Hypothesis? Because I swear to God, I have been bullied more into reading that book than I've ever been pressured to take drugs. Okay, there's a sinus pill sitting unwrapped on my counter and a half pint of dairy-free ice cream in my freezer that I need to get to. So we're gonna wrap this up and I'm gonna go. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!